We are live. Hey, everybody. It's been a while since we've done this. Today's subject of the live rant is toy scales, toy size classes. And I can already tell that Thundercracker is chomping at the bit, so I say we start with him.
Yeah, horns up, motherfuckers. All right. Hey, here's an interesting tidbit. When you are asked to join in a podcast, you should pay attention whether it is AM or PM on the invitation. Because I thought that it was PM, and I realized that I was doing a podcast about 3 minutes ago. So yeah. Anyway, here's the thing. I want to say a couple things and about the classes. I was doing a little homework for this, and I was looking at this size chart for the classes of the new toys, and there are no shit 61 entries in this size chart. Judging because like you have on your Y column, you have prices between $3 and $90. And then on your X column, you have Beast Wars all the way up to Universe. And in those intersection points, you have 61 entries. And to me, that spells confusion. I don't know how else you could say that, but to me, I don't know, 61 different varieties. And people might say, well, variety is great. But I don't know. It seems to me that that's a lot. So that's I guess I'll make some other points later, but that's my the main point is and I used to lampoon that on my page a little bit with the Voyager class, Deluxe, Beast, Titan, Beast, Voyager, Prime, Ultra, Beast, Deluxe, Voyager joke, but it just seems like they've gone a little bit outside of their sanity and or gourd with their whole classifications of these toys, and I get it. You want to have various levels of collectability for the beginning collector versus the adults buying the $90 toys or the rich kid, but it just seems to me like it's a lot, and it seems to me like it's confusing. So that's the one point I would like to make. So that's my. I'll shut up now, and maybe say more later.
All right. Well, yeah,
61 entries.
I get that with how annoyingly complex it is, but part of the issue that I have always had with toy size classes is it doesn't bother me that they have multiples of them. It's that it changes from line to line.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't start standardizing it as the Legion, Deluxe, Voyager, Leader, Titan until just a few years ago. So there were no proper size class verifications for G1 or Machine Wars or any of those. But Beast Wars started introducing it proper, and they had megas and ultras and whatnot. And then they had Optimal Optimus toy, which was ridiculously big, and it had its own size class, and it was the only toy in it for a while. I don't remember what it was, but then only recently they said, hey, so anything that's roughly this height and complexity is a Deluxe, anything up to this height and this complexity is a Voyager, and that's how they started doing it. But that in and of itself causes problems, because I didn't know this until Pyro told me about it. The Chugs and no, not the Sewer Dwellers, the toy line. The Chugs Galvatron was originally meant to be a Voyager class design. He was meant to be bigger and more complex, but then they told the designers, no, everything in this line is going to be Deluxe, so they had to shrink it down.
Right.
And that's why it's such a terrible toy. That's why it pops apart and doesn't transform right, because it was meant to be bigger.
Yeah, they actually took a Voyager class mold and were not given the time to re-engineer it, so they just took that and scaled it down, and yeah.
I have that problem with Galvatron.
Everyone does.
It's like you need to have a working understanding of mechanical engineering, structural engineering, and Euclidean and non-Euclidean geometry.
Now, when you were saying Optimal Optimus, is he a beast machine?
No.
He was one of the Beast Wars.
Because Beast Wars, I see 5 entries from basic up to super. Beast Machine, I see basic up to Supreme size.
Yeah, it's stupid, complex, and ridiculous.
Yeah, that's fact.
But yeah, so nowadays they've got it standardized, which I actually like. I know it's still stupid complex, but I actually like it. But then you get into stuff like, the modern Titan scale toys, which is the biggest class. And you have Metroplex, or not Metroplex,
Trypticon?
no, why do I always brain fart on his name?
Fortress Maximus?
Yes, thank you. Fortress Maximus. And I was on a forum back when they first announced, back when his toy first got released for the one, and people were arguing over what Cerebros's toy scale was. And they were like, well, he's a little bit taller than a deluxe, so he's technically a Voyager. And somebody was like, yeah, but his transformation is super simple, so technically he's still a deluxe. And I was like, how about you fuckers just enjoy the toy?
I just took a look. Optimal Optimus, his class was Super Transmetal.
Ah,
Okay. Yeah, that's not ridiculously pointless.
For some odd reason, I'm now associating him with the Trans Am.
Well, yeah, the way his tank mode looks, yeah. Because Trans Am.
now, yeah, nice. Now, the ones that look like G1, those are either classics or generations, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
But then the way they're doing it with the current toy lines should greatly please the scale lawyers, though, because they're keeping the relatively big superimposing characters like Megatron, Optimus Prime, the Phase Sixers. I know we all love them.
Mhm. Favorite.
Yeah, they're-
Overlord and his pouty lips.
Yeah, they're keeping them all leader class, so they're actually huge and tall compared to everybody. So that's actually going to be neat because I actually want that Overlord and Black Shadow toys, and I would love to have them standing over other characters.
Like some vast predatory bird.
Yes, yes.
That does make sense.
I'm actually, I know this is off topic, but I hope they make a Blue Bacchus toy. Just because, I mean, you can't really have Black Shadow without Blue Bacchus, so I hope they do one. Anyway, going back onto the subject here. So the toy classes are, a lot of them, for some reason, some of them don't keep to what they're saying. Now, I know that they don't make a bunch more sub-genre classes simply so they keep it, Titan, Leader, Voyager, Deluxe, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But like Devastator, the Combiner Wars Devastator is a Titan class toy, but he's significantly shorter than the other two current Titan class toys with Metroplex and Fort Max. So here's my question about it. Since they're doing this to partially keep things in scale, at least, will I assume eventually, because he was part of that fan vote thing they did, I assume eventually that they will do a Omega Supreme. Is he going to be an actual Titan class toy? Like, is he going to be as big as Trypticon and all that? Or are they going to keep him a little bit shorter to keep him in scale with Devastator? Because I hope they keep him in scale with Devastator so I can recreate those scenes.
Yeah, I just want to say one thing about that. First of all, you're never going to please scale lawyers, ever.
I know.
I mean, it's not going to happen. I mean, like every time you put up a picture of Unicron and it's got any other picture of any Transformer ever in it, that's wrong scale. I'm like, well, dude, if it was in scale, they would be, you wouldn't be able to see them in this picture because it's a planet, you idiot.
I literally got into an almost a fist fight at a comic book store the other day, like a week ago, and it wasn't me that was getting aggressive. It was me just being a dick and continuously repeating something. He was getting mad. And this guy just kept saying, well, G1 is awful because the scales keep going wrong. And I just kept saying mass shifting.
Yeah, right on.
It's mass shifting. And he goes, mass shifting is stupid. I said, whether it's stupid or not is not the argument. Mass shifting exists in G1. Anytime you think something's out of scale, it's mass shifting.
Right on, brother.
Yeah.
I can't help but think of that picture of Bruticus if each of his components were actually to scale. Like,
Yeah.
Blast Off was huge compared to like Swindle, who gave him like a gimp leg and Brawl and Vortex.
But more to your point though, the thing about Omega Supreme and or Devastator, I agree with you. I hope that they make and I don't even really like the toys. Shocker. But I hope that they make Omega Supreme somewhere in between Devastator and Fortress Maximus / Metroplex, because that would make sense. But my worry is that Omega Supreme is so popular and everybody loves Omega Supreme so much, and all the little fanboys orgasm so much every time they see Omega Supreme with a stupid little claw hand and a stupid little orange John Boehner face. They're gonna make him huge, and just so the little fanboys can adore him, and they're gonna make him the size of Metroplex, which would annoy me, but I wouldn't put it past them.
Change his name to Pizza Supreme, and then we'll talk.
I think Omega Supreme will be in like Metroplex size Titan class.
Exactly.
Just because the classes are not designated by size, they're designated by weight of plastic content. And I can't. Devastator has ridiculous amounts of plastic content. That's why he is within the Titan class, not necessarily for his size. Yeah, that's what designates class is weight of plastic content.
We can all at least be grateful that for the time being, at least, there is not a new Windblade toy.
Yeah, speaking of that, I was going to say too, remember how we were all projecting that the winner of the vote, the new Prime, was going to be Windblade?
Yeah.
Well, I thought that would have been dumb, and that's why I think they would have done it. But they managed to be dumb and not do that. Does anybody have any thoughts on that?
They selected a heretic.
We were discussing this actually before we went live and before you logged in. It's still going to be Windblade.
Oh yeah, pull the carpet out from under us at the very end.
They'll take the Generations Windblade toy and they'll put an Optimus Primal head on it, paint it black, and say, "This is it."
Nice.
He was already a heretic by being Chaos. Now he's going to be Slaanesh by.
Yeah.
This is just so much heresy. I can't use it right now.
No, all the non-binary people should love that.
Yeah, you know what would make it even better is if like they give him 4-finger rings on each ring. On one side it said HARA, and on the other side it said MBE dash.
I would buy that. I would buy that immediately. Instantly. Like I would trample a child to get to that toy.
Yeah, and back to your point of your podcast about these sizes, right?
Right.
It seems to me like there's a limited and finite amount of space at toy stores, right, to display wares from various companies, right?
Agreed.
And if you have, say, 61 versions, 61 classifications of toys, to me, I don't know, call me crazy, but it would seem like it would be hard to fit items from all 61 classifications into said finite space for toys. And that seems to me like probably one of the reasons why I see all the time online where people say, I can't find Voyager Deluxe, Scout, Activator, Legends, Command, Ultra, Leader, Supreme, Ultimate, Super Base, Megatron.
Well, it's interesting that you say that because I call it when I go look for a new toy rather than ordering it online. I call it going plastic hunting because I literally have to drive over half of my state.
Yeah, like safari type thing. Yeah.
Yeah. It really is a hunt. What recently has bothered me about class sizes is for so long it was solid, Legends, Deluxe, Voyager, Leader. That's all there's been. And every single line has only contained these classifications. Within the past 4 or 5 years, they have given each line its own new set of size class classifications, and
Yeah.
I'm starting to get confused. I mean, there's Prime had Commander class. Yeah, and you're like, wait, well, what is this? And they're like, well, it's not quite this, but it's not quite this either. And you're like, why does this even exist? What is the point of even having this? I don't
To piss people
understand.
off. It's to piss people
So-
off.
Mission accomplished.
The standardized size classes, the concept has been all but forgotten in the recent past, and I don't like it.
Honestly, I've only got two figures that are perfectly in scale with each other, and that is Scout Class Depth Charge from Revenge of the Fallen. His alt mode was a kind of a mishmash of the Arleigh Burke class destroyer and the Freedom class littoral combat ship.
Okay, I'll pretend I know what those are.
They're warships. Him and Easy Collection Devastator are within scale to each other.
I say it's funny that actually, Pyro, that you mentioned Prime, and it's funny that Brawl, that you mentioned the movie line, because anyway, if you look at like a Voyager class from any of the live movies, and you compare it to a Voyager class from Prime, there's a significant size difference. If you
Yes.
actually hold one up to the other, the movie ones are significantly taller.
Oh yeah.
And
Yes, but then you have to look at actual plastic content.
yes,
Wait.
I get that. I don't dispute that. It's funny to me that they can go from like, okay, so here's a good example. My favorite toy from the Transformers Prime line is any and all versions of Megatron. I love that Megatron mold as a Voyager. I love it. It's one of my favorite toys. But he's Megatron. He's supposed to be big, badass, and intimidating. But if you compare him to any comparable Voyager class toy of any other toy line that used Voyager, they're all taller than him.
Yeah.
It's weird to me. Like, don't get me wrong, especially the Japanese versions. You know, Takara Prime gave us some actually pretty decent toys. But it's weird to me that hey, it's Megatron, and by the way, he's got short man syndrome now.
Oh yeah. I was gonna say too. I think maybe my, irrational hatred of Voyager class toys might be like deeply rooted in that it calls to mind images of Janeway and Chakotay and Tuvok.
Of who?
Well,
Janeway, Chakotay, and Tuvok.
well, I got nothing. I don't know how to respond to that because you're right.
Yeah. One more thing I was going to say too is you guys were saying about how the movie Depth Charge is his alternate mode is X and Y warships, right?
Right.
I was going to say that his robot mode. I'm not sure if you guys are fully aware of this, but you remember the Wooly Willy toys? If you zoom in on the metal filings, that is pretty much his robot mode.
Yeah, just about.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. As I cannot argue this.
You know what I'm talking about? The little face you can move the
Yep.
filings around.
Yep.
Wooly Willy.
Yeah, I remember them. I remember those.
All right, I just got to take every chance I can get to shit on Transformers Movieverse because I really don't like it. Shocker again, I'm sure to all of you.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy? It's got the Bayformer face and whatnot, but I saw concept pictures of a leader class Dark Knight Megatron, I think is what they're calling him. It's the one that's got the tusks and it looks like Ultron.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Exception of the face, his toy actually doesn't look bad. At least the robot mode does. He's back in having a Cybertronian jet mode, which I've said it before. That's not a deal killer for me. But other than the face, his robot mode actually doesn't look half bad as a toy.
You mean not being a
pull
gun?
his head off.
It's not
He's got a
not
ball
deal
joint.
killer.
Yeah, him not being a gun. Because part of my issue, like, I get it. I prefer Megatron as a gun or a tank because that's just Megatron. But him having a Cybertronian aerial mode doesn't bother me much because, you know, it's part of the lore. The Decepticons, even though they were an insurgency group, had such a massive advantage and did so much damage so quickly because
Because they were airborne. Yeah.
that was a huge military advantage that they had for like the first 9 million years of the Great War. So it doesn't bug me when Megatron has an aerial mode if it's done right. If
Yes.
you know, if they're just like, oh, it's just a remold of Starscream. No, sorry.
Or if the aerial mode looks like what the fuck with wings?
Yeah. No, it's a weird aerial
Right,
mode.
I'm looking right at you.
When it first got described to me, I hadn't seen it yet, but when it first got described to me, getting back onto scales here, his leader class animated toy, when it first got described to me, I was like, oh, that's going to look like shit. I hadn't seen the show yet. And so when I looked at it, I was like, it's weird. I cannot bring myself to hate his dual rotor helicopter mode. It
And
actually
that leader class toy is freaking amazing.
I know. I love it. I have one. I love it. And I love that he's got the gimmick where he pushes Decepticon symbol and he talks.
So
That
wait a
toy
minute.
that
Wait a minute.
I literally logged about 5,000 miles on my car looking for.
Wow.
So-
I drove far looking for this toy.
So wait a minute. His alternate mode in Transformers Prime is a dual helicopter.
No.
Yeah, and animated. It was
Animated.
comparable to the Osprey.
Oh.
Yeah, and actually, it doesn't look half bad. I know that as a G1 purist, you're not going to like it just on principle, but it actually doesn't look half bad.
It is a great toy. It is a great toy. When it first came out, it was probably the best Megatron mold in 20 years.
Yeah, and it's cool. I like him because there's like little nods and winks to the older fans because his head sculpt and his helmet looks like Ultra Megatron.
Yes.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say. One thing too is the Transformers Megatron from the new Last of the Knights of the Fallen, or whatever the fuck the new one's called, right?
Michael Bay has an explosion orgasm 5. Yes.
Yes. the one that you said looks like Ultron.
Yeah.
I was going to say, to me, you know what it looks like to me? It looks like, the California redwoods?
Yeah.
Imagine if those were made of metal, and imagine like one of those fucked a rhino and had a kid. That's what he looks like in his face to me.
Yeah.
I'm going with Ultron.
I'll just throw that out there.
I'm going with Ultron. It's far less. The imagery in my brain is far less revolting.
Just saying, it looks like a metallic redwood.
Shut up!
I know it does. It's even worse with the pictures where he's got red paint on side of his face.
Uh-huh.
It does, but damn it, don't ruin my life.
Hey, one more thing about that too is like, how they brought that preview picture. If you look real close to that preview picture, you can see like an ancient Hawaiian tiki warrior with his mask on, with his arms up in the air, like inside of his face. Like you can draw it out in his face.
So I'm assuming then that somehow Megatron has always had this mode and that he traveled back in time in order to travel to the future to get back to the past like Samurai Jack. And I'll be honest with you, this is the first live movie that I'm not going to go see. I went and suffered through all the others, and I'm not going to go see this one. It just looks too stupid. Even Anthony Hopkins can't lure me in.
Oh, Anthony Hopkins is in it?
I haven't seen a Transformers movie since Revenge of the Fail. I swore I never would again, and I meant it. I won't even watch those things edited for content on television.
It's weird because when I first go into them, I have it's like I'm a living meme. Like I look like the challenge accepted face, and then when I leave, I look like the no face.
So they make the new toys in the various sizes for the movie verse.
Yeah,
Okay, I didn't know that. I thought that they only made like the nods to G1 and/or Beast Wars in those.
yeah. The first big super crazy toy that they did was a leader class first movie Megatron, which the toy was utter shit.
Yeah.
They gave him the gimmick with his hand could become a flail, but because it was all stalactites and metal splinters on a weird little cord, it broke super, super, super easy. And then they gave it noise abilities, which that's part of why I was wary of the leader class animated Megatron, because the movie one, his noises was it was like metal shrieking noises.
Yeah, you know what? Now that you mention it, I think I did press a button on that in a toy store one time. And yeah, you're right. It's just like, "Argh!"
Yeah, it's just like
It's kind of like somebody took that screaming that Schwarzenegger did in Total Recall and just put it through a filter.
it's it's a remixed clip from a dubstep song.
That's
Skrillex.
possible.
It was Skrillex.
Skrillex. Yes. There's the face.
Yeah, and that's when I pointed out the Tiki Man in the face, just so you didn't think I was crazy.
Oh yeah, look at that. His face looks like something else at that angle too, but I'm not going to say it.
It looks like somebody took Movie Brawl's Mind Plow and hammered it into a head shape.
Also, why does he have like writing on his forehead?
He's trying to be Charles Manson.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
Well, now you're being like Sarah Silverman because that's not a swastika. That's
She got so legitimately trolled for that. It's amazing. So yeah,
Anyway, back onto topic here.
sizes.
Sizes. Size is
Scale.
important, damn it. So part of what bugs me the most about current scale issues is, like Pyro was saying earlier, for a while they were consistently going, these are the scale sizes. This is what we operate in, and you could expect certain things from certain scale size toys.
Consistency.
But then they started creating the subgenres, and technically because this version is like this, and we're seeing it now mostly from the RID cartoon, where they've got toys that are roughly the size of deluxe toys, but they're not at all complex, and there's as much plastic in them as a Happy Meal toy. And so they've got their own size class, and it's awful.
Yeah. They're still set on plastic content.
There's-
And
There's a couple diamonds in those turds. I'll say that much. Like I love what's his face, Quillfire. I actually like that toy a lot.
Is that the one, the redneck?
Yeah, he's the one that has the little hooked finger for putting in somebody's mouth and going, "Come on, boy, squeal, woo, suey!" And he turns into an off-road mutter. So
What's the
that screams redneck right there.
What's the one that looks like Wheelie, a Segway, and ET had a three-way and had a kid? What is that?
That's Fix It. I have that one. Only reason I got it was to be a butt monkey in the photo comics.
well, have you getting off topic again? Have you guys seen that now all of those fuckers are combiners?
What?
yeah.
All
Oh
of
wait,
them.
I remember you shared that picture.
It's the one on the left is actually Team Bumblebee as a Gestalt, and it said for core kids, and I responded by sharing
Common Core?
Common Core, because that's what it looks like.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's like combining. It's like if Combiner Wars met Play School.
Yeah, you know
And
what frustrates me the most?
Out they chat Combiner Core, which sounds a lot like Core Combiners, which was a terrifyingly horrible line of toys.
The
Yeah.
Power Core
Combiner.
Combiner?
Yeah, Power Core combiners.
Yeah, no, that was a failed experiment.
I have
Those were,
3 of them.
Those were prototype Bayformer toys.
They were terrible. It was like their test subject for their new Gestalt styling, and oh yeah, that one went in the fail bucket.
There's two things predominantly that piss me off about the Bumblebee team combiner. One, where the fuck is the new Abominus? Two,
Good question.
they had the audacity, if you actually look at it, they had the audacity. His color scheme looks like a mockery of Monstructor.
Wow.
Ugh.
And that pisses me off because I would love to see a modern Monstructor. I know.
Oh my goodness. I would snap up a modern Monstructor
even,
all day.
even if they were dicks about it and they got rid of, because he's a 6-way combiner like Devastator. So if they fucked with it and made it so one of his pieces was a chess piece, I would be pissed, but I would still probably buy it. But I don't get how they're like, because in the modern comics, even though he hasn't been in there for like a year, Monstructor was a principal character for the entire Dark Cybertron arc. So I don't understand how they're not working. He's popular again. I don't understand why they wouldn't make a toy.
Because James Roberts hates you.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, so since you guys are obviously the experts to me for all things not G1, right? What is the deal with this guy that looks like he's got a hair pick on his head? His name is Thunderhoof. Yes, not like a hair pick on his head. I just see him like just attached to an afro.
He is a gangster crime boss who got captured during the Great War and got free on Earth. That is as much as I care to know about him.
So really, really dumb.
Yeah, he turns into some kind of tractor plow thing.
Okay, one more question. What is the deal with the Minicon deployers and how they have apparently Minicons on sprues that look like either Autobot or Decepticon?
I actually have the full-on info on that. What happened was the animators for RID and the toy designers got really drunk and really high, and they watched Battletops while watching Armada, and they said, "Hey, you know what would be a good idea?" And nobody had the guts to stop them.
Because here's the thing about that. I think like putting those weapons in fists and stuff on the screws, that's a pretty good idea. Actually, I think it is. And that's shocking for me to say because normally I think that shit. But I think that's a good idea. The only problem would be is if I got that, I would never want to remove anything from the sprue because it looks more like the insignia with the things on the sprue. And then if you take them off, it's just the outline.
Yeah.
But anyway, size.
They repurposed a bunch of the Minicons from Power Core combiners for the arms microns in the Japanese portion of
Prime.
RID.
Yeah.
And hell, I used one to replace a Minicon I had that one of the legs broke, like the peg where it's supposed to where the leg attaches snapped right off, and I didn't even apply barely any amount of pressure to it.
Well, what's always funny to me, and then right after this comment, we'll get back onto the primary topic. What's always funny to me is when I go to the various stores that I do my plastic hunting at, and I talk to employees and whatnot. It's always funny to me that the characters that the franchise loves to try and shove down our throats, like Windblade and whatnot, don't sell well. And
if you glut the market with one character, no, you're not gonna sell well.
Well, it's funny to me because I forget who said it, but some comic guy, it wasn't even a Transformers comic guy, I think it was Marvel. He commented that you can tell how popular a character is by how well the toy sells.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting because Bumblebee's pretty goddamn popular. I always see like stacks and stacks of unbought Bumblebee toys every time I go to any store.
That's because they
They're
make
trying to form a hive.
um
They're trying to form a hive so they can give us honey.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. I like that.
It's a common thing for collectors to encounter the great yellow wall of fail
Yeah.
when they go looking for toys.
Part of the problem with Bumblebee is because of how popular he is and how well his toys initially do. They make way too goddamn many of them. They send too goddamn many of them. And then when everybody buys everything else, all that's left is the excess Bumblebee. He does sell well. He is a popular character and his toy does sell well, but each toy store gets like 5 times what they'll actually sell.
I can remember back when he was this little tiny penny racer proportion car.
I used to have, I didn't have the Pretender shell, but I had the Pretender insert for him.
Yeah.
And that was a teeny tiny little toy. That was itsy bitsy teeny weeny.
Didn't it have better articulation than the original one?
No.
Huh.
Anyway, back onto a size scale. Oh, look, Scrapper commented what I wasn't going to say, and I'm still not going to. And I know anyone who's going to, the 3 people who will watch this, we're having a little chat through Facebook as we're recording this. Anyway, back onto, once again, trying to segue it back onto topic. Size scale. I was legitimately happy when they announced that they were going to be doing more Titans scale toys. Trypticon was a potential, and now that we've seen the Trypticon toy, oh my god, I had a nerd boner that would not go away.
Huh.
Even I'm forced to admit that Trypticon toy looks pretty good.
They kept it so close to the source material.
I am a big fan of the Titan line. I think they have come out with the Titan line. Yes, the price point hurts, but when you get it in your hand, you're like, yes, this is worth it.
Yeah, it's my legitimately only complaint about what I've seen so far is I haven't seen Brunt.
Huh.
The tank drone, his back cannon turns into a little tank.
Some third party is probably going to produce one.
Undoubtedly, or they'll release something that it's not Brunt, but it clearly is Brunt.
Or they'll just redeco Skytread into something that looks like Brunt.
Yeah, I'm also looking forward to Broadsides. I know a lot of people don't like the way it looks, but I honestly am excited to get Broadsides.
I have an idea involving him and some unused G.I. Joe stickers.
Yeah, what the coolest thing about that Broadsides toy character is he comes with teeny tiny little bitty aerial bot casts that you pin to the deck of his aircraft carrier mode. I'm looking forward to posting pictures of that and going, "Hey, scale lawyers, look, it's in proportion."
Hey, here I'll send you my my MicroMasters Transport flat top so you can do a comparison. Actually, hell, I could use that to piss off scale lawyers because his alt mode, an F4 Phantom, is way too big to fit on the flat top of the carrier deck.
That's an interesting thing to bring up. I didn't even think about that while we're talking about size comparison of toys and scale. The MicroMasters, that's an interesting thing that I totally forgot about. Especially the MicroMaster combiners, where you could make something half space shuttle, half tank.
See, I like those.
That's tank.
It's half Formula One racer, half construction equipment. Because
Robots in disguise.
why wouldn't you want a super fast crane?
Yeah, you get the work done quicker. Duh.
Yeah.
Like every kindergartner's dream.
And just to let you know, I'm looking and they released a picture of City Mode Titan's Return Titan Class Trypticon, and it does not include Brunt.
Yeah, that's
hell.
That's what I was upset about. I didn't see Brunt.
Yeah, there is no Brunt.
And Trypticon was one of my holy grail toys when I finally got a complete one. And I like Brunt. I know a lot of people think, oh, it's just a stupid little gimmick. And I was like, no, because he had a bunch of city kibble. And they said, hey, you know what? Let's make it so the city kibble turns into a single toy.
Huh.
Which I think is incredibly clever. And that's the predominant reason why I like Brunt. Plus, I think it was one of the Japanese comics way back in the day. They actually captured Brunt while Trypticon was attacking them, the Autobots, and they made it fire. And Brunt is powerful enough to injure Trypticon enough with a single shot to where he was forced to retreat.
I remember that.
So Brunt might be an autonomous drone, but goddamn.
Yeah, my Trypticon is actually my original Trypticon that I got when I was a kid.
Cool.
And, yeah, it's you know, I had to clean out some battery blow up on it, but other than that, it survived pretty good.
Yeah. I love how even back then when he was brand new and compared to now, like if you unbox one now, the motor is the loudest fucking thing ever.
Oh yeah, it is. You're right. It's like a rock concert.
Yeah,
And
I
he
can
moves like super slow to that loud motor.
Yeah, it's like if you live near like a concert or something and you're just like, oh god damn it, all these bastards are listening to Metallica and shit. I can't stand this. Hold on, I'm gonna turn the Trypticon toy on. White noise.
Yeah, and at conventions, you could always walk by a room from the corridor and know you had bought a Trypticon because you're hearing "Wah!" through the door.
Oh,
Yeah,
God.
the Titans Return full tilt looks really good.
Yeah, actually. I like that they're keeping him having the back, you know, even he's in car mode, his little dual-barreled laser pistol thing mounted on the back still.
Huh.
Yeah, I was really pleased with how close they kept everything to the source material. Even his transformation looks like it runs the same.
It looks like identical, I think.
I know. They did what they should do. They literally just made the toy bigger and made it more detailed.
Yeah, who'd have thought?
They put a lot of thought and inspiration into the Titan class. And yeah, at first I was really worried about it because of the price point. But
Yeah.
then when I got one in hand, I'm like, sweet Jesus, it's worth it.
I still laugh when I see pictures of that Long Haul did where he welcomes Trypticon into his home.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He hugs him like he's his little kid. He reads him a book. That was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are the size of toddlers, so you can really have some fun with them because they're articulate and huge.
Yeah.
I think we should probably show some
so
concern if he starts rolling around the park in a stroller.
Yeah, I've seen so many really good photo comics involving a Titans class toy.
Huh.
You know, I think that originally I was actually really, really pissed that they were doing the Cassetticons as turning into smartphones and whatnot. But when I finally put one into
Blaster? Soundwave?
No. When I put it in Fortress Maximus's hand, I was like, holy shit, they created these for the express purpose of people just fucking around with their Titan class toys.
Yes. Yes.
Hey, speaking of Trypticon, didn't they release a really, 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 really stupid looking version of Trypticon like a decade ago or so?
Are you talking about Transformers Gum?
Legends, maybe? Where it was a 3-headed dragon?
Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about. Fuck
And then
that.
they later made that same thing into Hunger.
No, they didn't. I refuse to acknowledge that toy's existence.
Wait, which Hunger?
No,
Universe Hunger.
it's literally just this ugly 3-headed thing, and they painted it purple and gray, and they were like, oh, hey, so it's Hunger.
Hang on, I'm taking a look.
And I'm just like, no, it's not.
Yeah, Universe Hunger. What it's called there.
Somebody
Somebody actually
about,
wrote as a review, this redeco is awesome and needs cuddles.
I
That
thought you also
reviewer
disavowed
needs to jump
the
off an overpass.
Beast Hunter's
That's all.
hunger.
One more thing about Trypticon. I think it would be neat if they like this Titans Return Trypticon, if they retooled it into Gigastorm.
That would, yeah, put the big horn on him and give him
Yep.
like the camo
Yep.
spots. Yeah, that would look awesome. I hope they do that in all honesty.
Retool him into what?
Gigastorm.
From Beast Wars 2.
Oh yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah. You know what I'm genuinely looking forward to, as someone who once possessed a victim of gold plastic syndrome. If they do Scorponok right, I hope that they do a Black Zarek.
Oh yeah.
Oh, dude, you could sell that all day.
I don't even like that shit, and I hope they do it.
That would be badass.
I like Black Zarek because he's one of those guys that's like my favorite fight scene in all of Godmasters is when Black Zarek chokes God Kinrai and when they're on the moon.
Oh yeah.
They're robots and they're in space. Why are they choking each other?
Because Black Zarek, man.
Yeah.
Black
He
Zarek.
definitely had a I don't give a fuck attitude. That's for sure.
Oh yeah.
I'm not even into anime formers, and I like me some Black Zarek.
Hey, when you go black.
Shut the.
You set yourself up for that one. Anyhow, I just took a look at the mold that Thud was talking about for Universe Hunger, and yeah, I can see why you would disavow that one.
Yeah.
I thought you disavowed Beast Hunter's Hunger as well.
Yes, I did.
I'm gonna have to do some more comics with that one then.
It's my problem with it isn't the toys. When I first saw those, I was like, all right, whatever. I'm not gonna get them, but whatever. But my problem is that the combining even though they're small and simple, there's no legitimate combining process. It looks like a power core combiner.
It's an abomination that somehow passes for Abominus.
No. You don't get to call that an abomination because that's too close to Abominus.
Okay, so it's
No, it literally looks like they took the 5 little mini Terracon toys, which aren't even Terracon anymore. They call them Predacons. And it looked like they literally just glued 5 of them together, and they were like, you know, we should make this a toy.
It was awful. I can't.
Okay.
Now, if they had actually like done like a proper full-on make them big and complex, sure. All right, I might be tempted to get it. Uh-oh. We lost Thundercracker.
Uh-oh.
He
That
fell
ain't
out.
Oh boy. Anyway, if they had actually made it big and complex, I would be there. He is. He's back.
All right.
I think Brawl's cough knocked me offline.
I can't help it that I'm coming into allergy season, okay?
No, he's got all that Iraqi dust in his air intakes.
Oh, don't even get me started with the emissions.
Man, some people with their allergies, I'm like, man, I would just hang myself if I was that bad every year.
Yeah, I have about a week where I projectile vomit phlegm, and then I'm
Yeah, I'm right there with you, man.
Yeah,
That
my
was
brother's
this
like that,
morning.
and like you could hear him coming down the hall. Dude, what the fuck?
That was
Yeah.
this morning.
yeah.
Go put a towel over your head and stand over some steam or something.
When I was in high school, I was on the football team, and I was having a really bad allergy day, and one of my coaches thought I was asthmatic because of how much trouble I was having breathing. He was like, "No, where's your inhaler? Aren't you asthmatic?" And I hacked up like literally a baseball-sized hunk of phlegm in front of him, and I was like, I'm fine now. I'm good.
I've
Yeah.
ever done that twice.
Now, did they ever release the new Rat Bat toy?
The who?
Yeah, Hasbro in their booth last year put out a preview of the new Rat Bat, and have they released that yet?
Oh, okay.
I don't think so.
Because it actually looks really good.
I have yet to hear anything past that about that toy.
Okay. I'm just saying because I like the look of it.
Which you got to be careful if they haven't released it yet because
They might just not release it.
well, not only that, but they might decide, hey, you know what? They like the way it is, so let's go ahead and make Ratbat a dinosaur,
Yeah.
and he'll be halfway between Voyager and Deluxe, and he'll link to Trypticon for some goddamn reason that they'll never explain.
It'll be his chest insignia.
Yeah, instead of being black and purple, we'll make him gold and red, and then be like, no, he's always been an Autobot.
So it's because the character was stale.
Yes, I was hoping Thundercracker would say it, but yes.
Nice. Yeah, it's people like have like really taken to those too, and like they'll do their own sometimes. And
I know,
some
it's
of them
great.
are pretty good. Some of them are pretty good. So yeah.
Did you see Dreadwinds? He actually talked about it was a straight up honest assessment of what IDW Thundercracker has done over the last year.
Yep.
And he's like, and the sad part is this is all true.
No, but what the thing is, I did that. He shared it for me.
Oh,
And,
okay.
yeah, and he goes, yeah, this is actually what happened. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Although,
I thought I'd bring it on home with an actual real one. So
I will say this. I will say this though. That comic with him being obsessed with Hawaiian shirts is where I got the picture to make the Slayer one for you.
don't worry, it looks like he's manic or on meth or something. Yeah,
Yeah, deliriously happy Thundercracker is deliriously happy.
I like it.
Yeah. Is that the
So
one where he's trying to talk to
back
Flint and Lady J?
Right. I happen to know a little bit about plastic in manufacturing because when I worked for a steel manufacturing company, we had a sister company in South Carolina that manufactured plastic.
All right.
Right. And but they manufactured plastic strapping, which is not the same exactly, but they still used molds, and they still used injections, and they still used I forget what the other word is, but the protrusion method, same kind of thing, except in reverse. But and yes, molds cost money. That's a fact. You can't get around the fact that a mold costs money, and you have to recoup the cost of making the mold through sale of the toys. And that's why they have to sell a lot of volume of toys to do that, right?
Right.
And shipping is a factor, labor is a factor, all that stuff is a factor. But I still think these new toys are obscenely expensive for what that they're trying to do, right? Because the other day, just out of curiosity, I was in a Walmart and I was looking at the quote unquote Transformers toys section. I sometimes do that just to remind myself of the shit show that's going on. But they had a blaster there, right? I was like, oh look, blaster, and it actually doesn't look stupid. He hasn't got any face stalactites or anything like that. So I picked it up and looked at it. I was like, holy shit, they want $50 fucking for blaster.
Wow.
$50.
Dan, sorry, Thundercracker.
Yes.
It's not 50. It's $49.95.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. 49. Is anybody been fooled by that in the history of retail?
They must be for them to keep doing it.
Yeah, I mean, come on. That's like I'll get exactly 10 gallons of gas. Where do I pay this 0.9 cents?
Yeah, no shit.
We get rid of that. Come on. But I honestly think, and maybe you guys disagree with me. And yes, I get it. Prices have gone up since 1986. But I mean, $50 for a blaster. I mean, come on. They're kind of.
I would expect that of trying to get one on the secondary market.
Yeah, the price is starting to not reflect me to buy them anymore. I mean, come on, when deluxe class toys are $10, no.
This is partially why I get most of mine at cons.
Yeah, if you go to a toy convention, you can usually negotiate those people down pretty good.
Yeah.
Like for instance, I was at Columbus Toy Show and I bought 5 original Hiss tanks that were in pretty good condition. I think it was 3 of the blue ones, or no, 3 of the black ones and 2 of the blue ones, and I got it for $40. So,
Not bad.
Oh,
yeah.
dang.
Yeah, I know. And they had all the weapons and the drivers and everything. The only problem is of course all of them, which is the common problem with Hiss tanks, is the laser cannons were loose on all of them. But I mean, that's pretty standard for his tanks. But
Yeah.
I'm starting to. I want to get his
dude
tank.
at a con. He had a tub full of Mobat tanks for like $5 a piece.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, they still had the treads and everything.
But back to my point about plastic manufacturing and the cost of these various sizes. I just think that they're trying to, because Hasbro makes giant colossal piles of cash. I mean, and I get it that that's the point of a business, but I think that their fan base at some point there's going to be a breaking point with the toys, and they're just going to be like, and I know that it's the day of consumerism and people throw everything on credit cards too, but I think there's going to be a breaking point at some point that people are going to decide that it's too expensive and they're going to stop buying this shit. That's just my opinion.
I have said as such before.
Okay, good.
It's gonna get to a point where even a deluxe toy is gonna be like $20,
right?
And that's gonna reflect upwards because, as we all know, shit rolls downhill but magically goes back up. So if a deluxe is going to be like $20, then the Voyagers are going to be $50. The Leaders are going to be $100.
Right.
They're going to be $250, and eventually, even the most hardcore fans are going to be like, "Fuck it, I'm done."
Right.
Yeah, when you can no longer justify spending that kind of money on the toy at the set price point, it's going to collapse.
Right. See, because I can tell you also from experience, the same exact thing happened at Games Workshop. Games Workshop, they used to be able to just sit, because the Warhammer 40K reference there.
Yeah.
Games Workshop, they used to be able to just set their price point because they had no competition. They could say it's this, and if you don't like it, screw you, pound sand, right? But then people would come along and they would make knockoffs. Instead of Space Wolves, they would be like Wolf People in Space Marines, but they would be Space Wolf, and it would be actually better better miniatures for less money. And that's kind of what I think is going to happen. There's going to be all these third parties and they say, "Hey, look, you don't want to spend $50 on this Titans blaster. Here's a Titans Boomboxio for $30, and it's just as good, if not better, but on a smaller scale."
I love knockoff and third-party names.
Yeah, I know. Me too. I don't know. Maybe that was a long and elaborate and pointless point, but I just kind of think that there's going to be a breaking point.
It's interesting. I wasn't going to bring this up because this rant's supposed to be about scale, but now that we're talking about this, I wonder if, because there was a lot of quality control issues with the last waves of Combiner Wars, and that kind of echoed over into the first couple waves of Titan Masters. But lately, the toys have been really good. And now they're giving the fans exactly what they've asked for. We're getting the Phase Sixers. We're getting Trypticon. He looks amazing. He looks way better. He looks like they put way more thought into it than Fort Max.
Right.
So I wonder if they realized that shit was happening, and they said, "Okay, for like the next 2 series, make them super high quality.
Get a lot more bang for your buck." You might be right.
And then
it's entirely possible.
Because look at what happened to the third parties that were doing their own masterpiece Megatrons and Laser Wave, or whatever they were called, Quake Wave.
Quake Wave.
These third party companies gave the fans what they wanted, so it sold well. And then Hasbro said, "Okay, we're just going to do that ourselves until we force these guys out, and then we'll go back to producing shit."
You're probably exactly spot on with that, unfortunately.
Yep.
That's what I'm afraid of. Like, I'm super excited to get these new high quality toys, assuming they are high quality. And what I'm afraid of is in 6-7 months or a year, when it's been 2 or 3. Hey, let's deprive the third parties and the knockoffs of their sales. And then when those guys all drop off the map, they go, "Okay, go back to making them as shitty as we did in third wave Combiner Wars."
Not only that, is you'll have a whole bunch of people that have 30 of the 50 in that class too. And they're like, "Well, I have to get the rest of these, even if they are shitty."
Yeah. Yep.
So I don't know. And speaking of that quality control, Okay, what's the deal with Metroplex's waist?
That is Hasbro pushing unrealistic body images of young girls. He's got a
Wait.
giant chest and a tiny waist and wide hips, and that demoralizes little girls.
Wait, which Metroplex are we talking about?
Any and all of them.
All of them.
Because I had one that I got from a garage sale that snapped at the waist.
Yeah, I have a G1 Metroplex that snapped at the waist too, but I mean, this new one, it's ridiculous.
Yeah,
The ratio of waist to chest.
yeah. His like, if he was a human, from the bottom of the rib cage down to his bottom of his pelvis, it's like a pencil.
Right, yeah, exactly that. Yeah, and if you look at him in comparison to Fortress Maximus looks like, I don't know, like a fucking Billy Bob trailer guy with he's just like a straight line.
Yeah, he's got a beer gut.
Yeah.
Am I the only one who's upset that the new Fort Max toy didn't have the side cannons that fold out?
No. Looking at the toy, I'm looking at the toy now, and that annoys me.
I did not invest in Fort Max.
Nor did I.
There's just no reason. It's just a heavy retool of Metroplex. I have Metroplex. I spent a lot of money on Metroplex. I'm happy with that mold as is. Don't repaint it and try to sell it to me again.
I've got a friend who collected via eBay and garage sales and Goodwill a bunch of parts from Broken Generations Metroplex.
Yeah.
I asked him, "Oh, okay, so you're just reassembling them into one workable version?" And he goes, "No, I've already got one that's in box." And I was like, "Oh, so what are you doing with it?" And he's actually like really fucking good at customizing toys.
Mm-hmm.
And he is retooling it to be Metro Titan from Zone.
Oh, nice.
Ah.
Yeah, he's actually like rebuilding the right side to be an openable little thing, kind of like Metroplexes, but still look right with or not Metro. God damn it.
Metro Titan?
Yeah, so he's
Fortress Maximus?
he's recoloring him, and like the only thing that's holding him up is sometimes Metro Titan is depicted as having like a shovel scoop for a hand.
Huh.
So that's like the only thing where he's like, I don't know if I'm going to do that or not. And I was like, don't, just make him like an evil Metroplex. It'll be awesome.
I remember coming across once on eBay, this guy had taken a Metroplex and completely custom painted it out in G.I. Joe colors. He was asking like $650 for it.
Yeah, some of these custom people are, some of them do great work, and what you pay for is worth it, but some of them not so much. So, all right.
Anyway, but yeah, that's what I'm worried about with them suddenly giving us super high quality toys. Is that they realized that the fans were going elsewhere for their merchandise, and they were like, "Oh fuck," and they're gonna do it for like a year and then revert back to shit. What's really pissing me off is now that we're saying this, then this will probably happen right when they switch back to being shit. Is when they'll release a new Abominus. And it'll have gold plastic syndrome, even though there's no gold parts. All the joints will come loose. There won't even be ratchets. They'll all be smooth joints.
Oh, yeah, I hate that. God.
And let's save money on production by not giving it good joint. Shocked when it doesn't have any rigidity after 2 days. That's what killed a lot of the Beast Wars toys.
Yep.
Yeah.
They didn't have ratchet joints, so I'm going to transform it twice, and now it's just it's plastic, but it's got the consistency of Jell-O.
Man. I have a G1 Hound that's kind of like that.
Oddly enough, I have a G1 Detritus that's kind of like that.
You actually bought that thing?
Yes, I did.
Oh,
I like the Junkions.
yeah.
Ugh.
We need to build a wall around Junkion.
And the Quintessons are paying for it.
Yeah. We're going to make Cybertron great again.
Ugh.
Hey guys, I gotta get out of here.
All right.
All right.
See you later.
Later.
Laters.
Has anybody ever considered the fact that maybe Earth hasn't been contacted by intelligent life because they choose not to contact us?
Right.
I can't say I blame them.
No.
I mean, think about it. If you were an outside observer and you were like, "Oh, hey, a planet with intelligent life. Oh, dear God, Africa."
Australia.
Uh.
All right. Well, I think that's actually going to wrap this up. I'd like to thank everyone for watching. I'd like to thank
All two
everyone
of
who
them.
participated, even though Thundercracker left before I could thank him. Thank you, Pyrostrata.
No problem. It's always fun.
Thank you, Brawl.
Because tank.
And that'll do it.